All right, just letting people build up, and there you go. So it has been a little while. I've had some food poisoning issues, maybe a virus. I don't know what the hell it is. One from COVID already had that, so I'm all good with that. And so we kept on having to delay the show. Then some other stuff happened, but we are now here, and we are ready to get started and to update everyone on the great state, the Commonwealth of Virginia. My name is John Crump. I am the Virginia Director for Gun Owners of America, Washington's only no compromise gun lobby. And we have a lot of news today. But before we get into that, you can go to gunowners.org and join up or even get on our mailing list. If you're on the YouTube channel, there's a little link. Not YouTube, sorry, Facebook channel. There's a little link on the bottom you can click on to let us see who you are. If not, this is what it looks like. It'll say Facebook user blank. What's up, John? So hello, whoever that is. Hello, Chris Shoemake. I am joined today by the Manila Gorilla himself, Scott Ayers, better known as Silverback Bananas. Oh, and
Yes,
by the
sir.
way, Scott, I was wearing a one of your shirts that you can get from blackswangtactical.com.
Yeah, I seen that
And
the other day. I like it.
yeah, my son was like, my 4-year-old was like, why does yes, it's not Coda Boy. He lost his webcam's not working, but yeah, but I hope it's we're not supposed to be on. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so he basically said, why is there a gorilla with a gun and a banana? I said, because gorillas like guns and bananas.
That's right. I couldn't
Yeah,
have put it better myself.
yeah. And for the people asking, the Coda Boy episode is going to be next week. Um, there's a little mix up with everything. His camera's not working, so yeah. Hello, DJ Play Nice out there. I don't know. Are we broadcasting on the Coda Boy one? Oh, we weren't.
Um, as far as I know, it was on. Yeah, it was on the episode 4.
Episode 4.
Yeah, that's where I'm seeing it.
Yeah, that's where I am seeing it as well. Coda Boy is coming up on March 17th. All right, I don't know what the Rich is talking about, but I did order some of the Gorilla Manila whatever sneakers and all that.
The
Uh,
gorilla feet.
the Gorilla Feet. All right, let's get into the gun of the day. I haven't loaded yours up yet.
Okay.
Hello, Joe Dragger, super chat member. But I will load up mine, and I have some information about the vote that happened today. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look at my gun of the day. And I don't have the tab open. Awesome. Facebook user, if you go and click on the bottom link, you can actually do it so I can see your name of my gun of the day, which I just posted a picture on my Instagram at Real John Crump. I will bring it up. And why I talk about that, I will go ahead and bring yours up next.
All right.
So let
Looks
me
like
go
we got
ahead.
another gorilla out in the crowd on the YouTube chat.
I am a gorilla. Jason King? Yeah, we have a lot of gorillas. I think the 2A community is like all gorillaed out. So,
I actually got a friend who has a YouTube channel, and he's called the Vanilla Gorilla.
ah, interesting. That right there is my Ruger 556.
Nice.
I have Magpul furniture on there, Streamlight light. Uh, it's really nice. I just keep it bone stock. Sometimes I do put my suppressor on the end. I have a few different suppressors for 5.56. But yeah,
Mm.
that gun is pretty good.
What length is the barrel on that one?
That's a 16-inch. Actually, it's like 15 point something with the pinned,
Right.
whatever. Also, the optic on there is a hollow sun. That is a holographic optic. It runs on a small little battery or solar powered. But yeah, it's a very accurate gun. It's very reasonable priced, and it's very reliable. So that was my budget build or my budget gun.
Oh, right on.
I really didn't build that. I kind of actually I won it in a contest. If it's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, I won it in a raffle
Mhm.
to support the Boy Scouts. I'm trying to get your thing up here, your gun up here.
All right.
I
Yeah,
might
that's cool, man.
I might just I'm just gonna hold it up because for some reason it's not my phone is being stupid. So I'll just hold it up to the camera here. Yeah, I won it. It was really funny. I won 3 charity raffles in a row.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a Christian make. It's a Ruger 5.56. This is Gorillas and Guns. I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Come up a little bit. Oh, it went away. There you
Wait,
go.
hold it. I'll hold it like that. All
Yeah.
right. Tell us about that gun.
That is a P38. It's not really a Walther. It was made in the Spreework factory in January of 1945. And something interesting about that, and it was one of the last runs as the actual Spreework factory before the Russians took over. But it was all, the whole factory and all the labor was done by slaves over in Czechoslovakia.
No, that's interesting. Well,
Mhm.
they were communists, and communists live under slavery.
Yep.
All right, that is a very awesome gun. I'm thinking I'm gonna bring out something very special next episode, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. It's not mine, so, but I wish it was.
Yeah. Oh, it's not. Oh,
Yeah. No, it's not
that's,
mine.
that's nice to know.
I'm doing a friend a favor and giving it a good cleaning. It's still got a lot of cosmoline gunked up in it and everything. So I'm cleaning
Cosmoline
it.
is terrible to get off guns.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. I hate it. I would pay extra money too. Facebook user, like I said, we can't see anything unless you click that link in the bottom of the description. Then it will give us permission to see who you are. All right. So you want to jump into the stuff? All right. We planned on recording this last weekend, but then I got food poisoning, so that kind of threw a monkey wrench into everything. I'm with the gorilla, so there you go. Uh, the session is over, but one of the things that came out of the session was something that Senator Scott Scoville, Surovell, sorry, admitted to, and he admitted to wanting to put up barriers and hoops in front of gun owners to make it
Yep.
harder to own a gun. He doesn't want to make it easier. The conversation was about NFA thing. Basically, in order to transfer a gun in Virginia now through the NFA, you have to uh, basically go through a background. This is for private sales. Go through a background check at the time of sale, and then you have to go through the same background check at the time of transfer. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
know NFA item, you don't get right away. You have to go to an NFA a SOT holder, and they hold it until the ATF says you're good to go, and then
Mm-hmm.
from there you go through the background check and everything else, and then they transfer you the gun. In Virginia, the law kind of screwed up. It wasn't intentional, but you have to go through 2 background checks,
Yep.
and they were trying to eliminate the first one because it's redundant. It's nothing. It's a waste of time and money. And Senator Surovell admitted, yeah, it is a waste of time. It is a waste of money. It really doesn't serve any purpose. But I want gun owners to jump through more hoops and have more barriers,
Mm-hmm.
which I think it was kind of a slip. I don't think he meant to do that, but he did. I'm gonna say hi to Clover Tack out there. Clover Tack was supposed to be on the show yesterday, but I had to cancel due to some family stuff. But
What's
I
up,
will get him
Clover?
back. So, what do you think of Scott Scoville
I think he's a moron.
or Surovell?
Quite honestly, yeah. I mean, why should we continue to clog up the system with all this extra paperwork for nothing? You know.
Especially when they said that they needed to go from 3 days to 5 days at the state
Hmm.
police because of the amount of background checks.
Right.
But yet
There.
they're adding extra unnecessary background checks to that.
Hmm. Right. That's exactly right. I mean, and nowhere in the Constitution does it say, you need two background checks to purchase a firearm item.
Yeah, it is crazy. So, but I think that just goes to show you what the Democrats want to do in the state of
Hmm.
Virginia and anti-gun grabbers everywhere. Not all Democrats are anti-gun grabbers. In fact, there is a Democrat that's running for mayor of Pittsburgh that is actually very two-way friendly, and he's actually more two-way friendly than the Republicans that are running against them.
Oh, wow.
But in the state of Virginia, yes, almost all the Democrats. You have like Chap Peterson, who's
Yep.
like one of the only pro-gun Democrats, but most of them are anti-gun. And Scott Soroville just goes to prove it by his comments about wanting gun owners to jump through hoops. When I saw that, I pulled that out quick as I could and plastered that everywhere. If you go over to John Crump News, YouTube/John Crump News, you can actually watch the video where he talked about it. There's also an article on Amaland about it. NRA sent out something, and some other gun rights organizations sent out something about it as well.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at your Ammo Land article about it right now.
Yeah, I think VCDL talked about it as well. But
Yeah,
when I
one of
saw
their
that, I watched
updates.
the whole debate, and once I saw that, I was like, I got to record that. So yeah, that was during the bill to remove the second background check. Unfortunately, the second background check is still there. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not gone.
no. Oh, well, but whatever. All right. Anything else on that, or do you want to move on to the next story?
I mean, we can move on. I mean, that's pretty short and sweet there. We all know that, he's an idiot, and we're still stuck with the two background checks. So, I
Yeah.
mean, what more can we do at this point? We have to wait till the next run in order to get everybody out there and speak out against it,
Yeah. Kirsty makes it doesn't make sense at all, and he is right. And Jason King, you worked for lead IT guy at several DC law firms, big ones, including Wiley, by the way. Yes, that Wiley. Yeah, I've talked to a bunch of attorneys from Wiley over there. Um, I know Wiley is tied up with SB Tactical on the Brave stuff, at least. At least one of the attorneys is. But yeah, let's move on to Loudon County. Loudon County in Northern Virginia, where I am from. I'm currently sitting in Loudon County. The GOA studio here is the GOA Virginia studio is in Loudon County, and they passed a local gun ban for parks.
hmm
Now, it does exclude concealed carry holders as long as the magazines have less than 20 rounds or less. And I
Well,
do
I mean,
carry.
that's fine because most carry guns that people carry are generally 15 ish,
Yeah, I mean,
10, 15 ish.
all right, like any infringement is a violation of the Constitution in my eyes. So I still believe that's a
Oh,
violation.
definitely.
Uh, the cool thing though, Phyllis Randall, who is a Moms Demand Action member, she actually wears a Moms Demand Action button. She broke with Moms Demand Action and voted to um, give concealed carry holders the right to carry
Hmm.
uh, carry guns in parks because she said it was stupid not to, because concealed carry holders are law-abiding citizens.
Hmm.
They go through background checks.
Well, I mean, people who open carry go through background checks too, I'm sure, when they purchase their firearm.
That is true. That is true. But one of the anti-gun people, very anti-gun people on the Loudon County Board of Supervisors, named Julie Briskman. You can look her up, Julie Briskman. She made a comment, and when I heard the comment, I thought that it was a joke, but she wasn't joking. The thing that she said was, if people feel unsafe in parks, they always have the option of hiring armed security.
All right.
What are the chances of people being able to afford to have armed security? She is a very rich person who is
Mhm.
very out of touch and doesn't realize that most people can't afford to hire armed security. I know I can't.
No, I can't. That's why I carry.
Exactly. I take my own safety into my own hands.
Hmm.
But I think that goes to show that they are so out of touch with the average people.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
they are. It's like, you can have your cake and eat it too, kind of thing, you know?
yeah, she's a Marie Antoinette.
Hmm.
And I think VCDL actually called her Marie Antoinette. I think Phil over at VCDL actually called her that. But it wasn't said in like a jesting manner or a joking manner. It was
Right.
said, hey, this is an idea for you if you feel unsafe. And I just had to laugh. I'm going to be totally honest with everyone out there. I I'm mm, really comfortable in life and my financial position. Um, but I'm not out of touch with people that aren't. So yeah, I just it just blew my mind, man. And it's not only her; it's a national problem with all these people in power.
Hmm.
They get
Oh.
protection, so that's good. It's like Bloomberg. Bloomberg was on stage when he was running for president, and someone asked him, "Is your life worth more than mine?" And he said, "Well, there's a lot of people that don't like me, so that's why I need to have armed security. I don't think you really need to have armed security." So basically, that was answering yes, and that
Yes, he
was
does.
actually in Manassas.
Yeah, I seen a thing where a bunch of people were outside one of his, I think it was up there in Manassas, his headquarters that he had up there.
Mhm.
And they were out there just protesting, and it was supposed to be before one of his little rallies that he was going to have. But
No,
yeah,
that was in Richmond where they basically shut him down, and he kind of like left.
oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. An arch enemy of mine who is now a friend of mine because of everything, because we both see so we don't like each other. Well, we like each other now. We
Mhm.
didn't like each other, but one thing we agreed on was Second Amendment issues, and through that we became we're now really good friends. Even though
That's
we
awesome.
disagree on everything else, but
Yeah.
Second Amendment brings us together. He sent me video, and this is before like we became friends. He called up one of my other friends and asked for my number, and my other friend's like, I'm not giving you his number. So he got it from someone else. He got it from one of my other friends, and then he sent me the video. I'm like, who is this? And he told me, I'm like, what are you doing? Text me. We don't like each other. But then we started talking. We became friends. But
Mhm.
yes, Bloomberg was shut down in Richmond.
Yeah. And just to answer Jason King's question, no, they voted
What
out.
what is his question? Remember, we have an audio version too.
Right. So his question is different laws in different towns. I thought we have the right to uniform laws across the state, and I believe the word capriciousness of regulators was one of the major complaints of the founders. Yeah, but here in Virginia, they did away with the preemption law.
Yeah,
So
it's called preemption where state law trumps local law. In the state of Virginia, they voted to get rid of preemption for gun laws as
Yep.
long as the gun laws are stricter than the states.
Yep.
They put
So now,
that little caveat in there.
right. So now each town gets to, or city or county gets to create their own little caveat of gun laws.
Yeah, so it can get very, very confusing.
Yep.
One of the good things about Loudon County is they removed the permitted events ban.
I've seen
Like
that.
in Fairfax and Alexandria, for example, they ban firearms at permitted events like a protest, carnival, whatever, and the road next to it. But they don't put a limit on how long the road is.
Right.
So let's say like Route 7 goes from Alexandria, the Potomac River, all the way to West Virginia.
Hmm.
And let's say there's a permitted event at on like one of the side roads right off Route 7. That would mean Route 7 would be the road that was next to the permitted event, which means, according to Fairfax law and Alexandria law and Arlington law, anybody carrying a gun on that is on that road would be guilty of a crime. And Falls Church did remove it, uh,
Okay. Excellent.
sending manage, but yeah. So it is kind of ridiculous, and it's a very, very hard to keep up with all the laws because you can have a different law or different ordinance in a different county for guns. So in one county you could be totally cool, and on the next county you could be guilty.
Yeah, Chris Shoemake says, "Is there anybody that would be exempt from that rule?" No, not that I
No,
know of.
no, you will not be exempt from that rule, unfortunately. So that is something that we have to fight. We have to fight and get preemption back.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a big thing. I mean, like you said, it just gets so confusing. Now you have to know the law of each. Say if you're traveling across the state, you have to know the rules or laws of each individual county, town, city that you're going to be traveling through, and I mean that can just get to be a lot and very confusing very quickly.
Yeah, for me, it's a little bit easier because part of my stuff is to monitor that.
Right,
Sorry, I hit my security camera. But for other people, it would be hard because that's not their job. They're not supposed to be monitoring that stuff.
right. And I know a lot of people I've had to educate on that after that law was passed. That hey, we no longer have the preemption, so you have to be careful when carrying your firearms, depending where you're going. Just make sure you look up those particular counties or cities that you're traveling through before you go through it. So you make sure you're not, breaking the law.
Yeah. The next thing is Portsmouth. There was a chance that they were going to rescind their 2A sanctuary resolution.
Yep.
Gun owners showed up en masse, and I'm happy to report that Portsmouth is still a 2A sanctuary city. I want to thank everyone out there that actually showed up and went and spoke. It does make a huge difference. People don't think it makes a difference, but it does.
Oh, it makes a big difference. I mean, they some politicians actually do listen to the people, especially if you come out in force and show them there are a great number of us out there that actually do care about our rights. They'll think twice about what they're doing.
Yeah, they always well. Chris Schumake points out the UFCCA app helps with knowing the laws in different states. Yeah, but even with that app, I just want to caution people to double check because things change. And on the state level, it's really good. They update it really fast, but on a local county level, that it's not as accurate. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a 4-3 vote, so they only withdrew the resolution, removing the resolution by one vote. So it was by the skin of the teeth, you know.
Yeah, it really was by the skin of the teeth, and that's because people showed up. I think they only had like two anti-gun speakers, and
Yeah, all the rest were pro gun.
they had like I don't know over 100 pro-gun speakers.
Hmm. Yeah, they said letters came in, prior to the meeting happening, and so yeah, they said there really wasn't a question of the fact that there was a lot of Second Amendment supporters out there, especially in that particular area.
Yeah, it definitely went. Uh, I also wanted to bring up something that's not Virginia related. We're getting into some non-Virginia related stuff, but it affects Virginia people because I know a lot of people are going to the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh area, Pennsylvania, basically, to go to these gun shows because companies like JSD Supply, which is a great company, they've actually did a letter with GOA recently. Um, they sell polymer 80 kits, and I found out, and I actually read an article in Amaland that, and I've seen behind the scenes stuff I can't really show, but um, the AG and I say Pittsburgh, but in Pennsylvania is really anti-gun. So he has had people there videotaping everyone buying 80% uh, frames and receivers. And then they follow them out to the parking lot and they film their license plate. So if you're going to Pennsylvania to buy a kit, polymer 80 kit or JSD kit, whatever, just know that they're going to be videotaping you and they're going to be videotaping your car.
Couldn't that be considered an invasion of privacy?
It's in public, so no,
Okay. But even if you're taking down their license plate,
it's still in public.
okay.
There's nothing illegal about doing that in public. Once you're in public, you're in the public domain, then anyone can take a picture of you. Uh, One of the things that happened at one of the gun shows in Pennsylvania is someone actually stole a firearm. They couldn't track them down by looking at the security footage because they changed all the cameras to look at people buying polymer 80s. So they have no footage of the firearm being stolen.
Concentrating on one thing and losing on another.
Yeah, concentrating on imaginary crimes
Right.
while losing an actual firearm and the actual crime being committed. But since you're so concentrated on actual crimes, law abiding citizens buying something that they're legally allowed to buy, you miss an actual crime.
Right.
The state police went and asked to see the surveillance videos, and they're like, the AG's office had us pointed at the table.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so I'm just throwing that out there for anyone in Virginia who goes to Pennsylvania to go to gun shows. You might be video recorded, and I believe everyone should know that. All right, you're ready to get into some federal news.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, you want to go with Merrick Garland first, or do you want to go with the actual bill? Let's go with the actual bills.
All right.
HR 8, universal background checks, and HR 1446, which is the enhanced background checks. Let me explain what that means. That means instead of having 3 days to return a response, NICS and the National Instant Check System will have 10 days to respond. And after 10 days, where right now after 3 days, there's no response, okay, the FFL can transfer the gun. After 10 days, the FFL can't transfer the gun. The FFL can have you submit a request to be able to get the gun.
Yeah, but you still
which
have to
can
wait
take
another 10 days.
another 10 days on top of that.
Yeah.
And then if they don't respond back, then they can give you that.
Mhm.
But yeah, Jason King says recording surveillance people in order to investigate them later or something like that is not a crime. No, it is not a crime, Jason. They're saying because it's in public.
Yeah, but wouldn't the gun show itself be considered a private thing because
No,
it's hosted by a private company or a private entity? Like
it's
I
like
know.
going into Walmart, right? You're allowed to
Yeah.
film people in Walmart. You're
Mm,
allowed to film. I mean, they can ask you to leave, of course, but there's no law saying you're not allowed to film. That you can't be sued for filming in Walmart or a
mm.
store
Well,
because it's considered public.
right. I
In
went.
an event center, it's the
Mm,
same thing. It's
okay.
considered retail.
Okay. Well, I went. I don't know. Maybe it's different in Pennsylvania, but I know when I went to, and I've only been to one gun show. They really don't interest me much. But I went to one of the SGK ones that they have around here, out at the Virginia Farm Bureau place, and everywhere as you walk in, they say no recording devices. They don't
Yeah,
want any recording devices.
but here's the thing. That is the role of the venue or the people.
Hmm.
It's not a violation of the law to actually record.
Okay.
You can't be arrested or you can't be sued for recording. They can make you leave or
Mhm.
trespass you, but they can't sue you for recording because that
Right.
is considered public.
Okay.
Exactly. There is no reasonable expectation of privacy, and that is true, and that has been stated over and over again in the courts. Yeah, they're acting like it's gathering evidence to investigate people. That's exactly what they're doing. That is exactly what they're doing. But what you know and what you can prove is two different things.
Right.
All right, let's get back into HR8. So HR8 is universal background checks. HR 1446 or 1446 is enhanced background checks. They both passed the House of Representatives today.
Yep.
I
And with
yeah,
some Republican votes.
yeah, with 7 Republican votes. I knew that was going to happen. Um, Everyone knew that was going to happen, but it does show who is on our side and who's not on our side. Madison Thorn is a rep, and he gave a very passionate speech, which included the phrases like, "For the Democrats sleeping in the back, wake up! If you want my guns, you're gonna have to come and take them," and challenging them, saying that he's not going to comply, which is awesome. And he ended his speech with, uh, "The Madam Speaker, come and take it.
Awesome.
I yield my time."
So I see now that they, because last time that this bill came across, I believe it was 2019, they had a thing in there saying that it would not, any of these background checks would not be used for a national registry. But now I don't see that in the text at all. Like they
No.
struck that whole part from the text.
They struck the whole part from the text. They're still not legally allowed to start a registry.
Right.
So that was just in there. The Republicans did try to put a rider on there that forced a vote on concealed carry reciprocity.
Hmm.
Some Republicans didn't vote for that rider. They abstained because they didn't want to, you know, they didn't want to vote against it and get crucified, but they didn't want to vote for it because they don't believe in it.
Good.
So both bills passed, and they're on their way to the Senate. Unfortunately, since the concealed carry reciprocity part was voted down, it is what it is. So the Senate is going to vote on it. Right before this show, I got a call, and it was someone that has inside knowledge on Mansion.
Okay.
It looks like he is going to vote for these bills. which means it will be a 50-50 tie, and Kamala Harris
Will be the tiebreaker.
will be the tiebreaker.
Oh boy.
But before we say that, not all hope is lost. Because what have I been harping on for months now that we have to save?
Filibuster.
A filibuster. And we got to keep Manchin's feet to the fire
Mm-hmm.
about him not wanting to kill a filibuster. What we need to do, we need to concentrate on making sure that the anti-gun gunners in the Senate do not have a supermajority of more than 60 people. Schumer says he's going to bring it up for a vote. So it is going to come up. So we have to use the filibuster to save it. If we would have won one of the elections in Georgia, all they would do is just table it. But it's going to get a vote. So the filibuster is how we're going to save it. Yeah, Jason King says guarantees they already have registration with each race. New Jersey was using their state registration system, but ran it by the feds in a violation of FOPA, which means they can't give it to the feds, but they did.
Yep.
That there's also another registry before you get back on the bill thing. When FFOs go out of business, they have to send all their records to the ATF. The old way was the ATF just locked them in trailers until they needed to do a trace, and then they did the trace the regular way.
Well, they were putting them onto microfilm for a while. They started doing that so they could get rid of the actual paperwork and not keep piling up the trailers.
But with the microfilm, they would have to still go look for it.
Right.
Now what they're doing is they're doing there's a type of scanner, it's character recognition scanner. It basically takes everything on the 4473 and digitizes it and puts it into a searchable database.
Right.
And if you look at the changes to the 4473, all the pertinent information is on the front, so they can scan it even faster now.
Yep, and I seen that just a couple weeks ago when I purchased a little 22 that I just purchased. First time I got to see the new 4473 forms.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Scott Silverback. In all your wisdom, what do you call a list of guns that is easily searchable by the government?
A database or a registry?
A registry, yes. The federal government is not allowed to keep a registry, but yet they're keeping a registry. They're just calling it. They're not calling it a registry. They're calling it a searchable database.
Right, but
I'm dead serious.
Wasn't it even still they weren't allowed to have a database of that either, because that's a easily searched records, which kind of means that it's a registry. I think there was something that stated that before.
Maybe, but they have a database, and they're like, "Oh, it's not a registry; it's just a database of guns."
Yeah, okay.
That's easily searchable by name, caliber, serial number,
and the person who owns it. Yeah.
Mr. Truckwagon wants to know if we think that the uppers and the parts will be considered guns in the future. I don't think so. I don't see that happening. I've checked with all my sources in the ATF, and there's no talk of that. I've checked my sources in Congress, and there's no talk of that. What he's referring to, there was a ATF agent that came out because they had a case in California where somebody was selling lowers that were not going through background checks, and they dropped the charges because if you read the definition of a firearm, a lower is not a firearm. And there's an ATF agent that pointed to that and said that they're going to make the uppers the firearm and the lower is not. You have to serialize your uppers. When I saw that, I was like, I should have heard something like that. So I checked all my sources in the ATF, and they're like, no, we're not doing anything like that. Then I went and checked my sources in Congress, which I have a lot, and you've seen my sources, Scott.
Yes, I have.
And they've told me, no, we don't have anything to do that. So as of right now, they're not going to do it.
How about with the 50 caliber? Because I believe that
Safety Harbor firearms.
Yep. Because I believe he has to serialize his uppers now.
Yeah, that he does. He does, but that is a single case, and that doesn't apply everywhere. I
Hmm.
mean, they could apply it everywhere, but I don't think they will.
Yeah, because I
Um,
think it's only him and one other manufacturer are making uppers like that anyway.
yeah, because Cali Key got permission to do their stuff,
Hmm.
which basically turns your AR-15 and or AR-10 into a bolt action rifle. It's actually a really ingenious system. It just replaces. You take a bolt carrier group, like an extra bolt carrier group, and if you really wanted to do it right, and it replaces the charging handle. Everything does that. It has like a gas pass through, so with direct impingement, there's no expansion chamber for the gas; it just passes right through. So
Hmm.
therefore, it's a bolt. It's considered a bolt action. So in California, you can have a fully featured AR-15 with the detachable magazine, and if you got magazines during Freedom Week, you can have a 30-round magazine.
Yep.
All you have to do is keep the Cali key in there, then it's considered a bolt action. And then what you do is you take a regular bolt carrier and a charging handle, throw it in a drawer. So if you ever need to go back, or if you go to Arizona or somewhere to shoot, you
Hmm.
just swap the Cali key out and you put in the bolt carrier and you're good to go. Um, so that is one of the reasons why I think they would try to go after serialization of the uppers, but
Yeah.
I don't think that they will, especially with the millions and millions of AR-15s out there.
Hmm. Oh yeah, there's far too many.
And one of the things that they're concerned about is they would have to grandfather all the old AR-15s and all the old uppers.
Yep.
So, so if the uppers are the ones being serialized and the lowers are not considered a firearm anymore, then someone could go out and buy an unserialized new lower, and mount it and mount a grandfathered upper on there,
Hmm.
and then basically have a dreaded ghost gun.
Hmm.
So that's why I don't think it's going to happen. And right now, there's no magazine bans
Yeah.
up
Nothing.
besides HR 127, and HR 127 is a bunch of fooey. It's never going to pass. Don't worry about HR 27. Concentrate on saving the filibuster.
Mhm.
Concentrate on defeating HR 8. Concentrate on defeating HR 1446. Anyone who's telling you, um, anyone that's telling you HR 127 is a threat, is just trying to get your money. There's another question here. Do we think that the chances of the retroactive assault weapons ban with no grandfather clause? I know Biden on the campaign trail talked about adding current ones to the NFA, which could happen. Uh, no retroactive, uh, a retroactive assault weapons ban with no grandfather clause. I don't see happening. There's no talk of that. I don't see it happening at all. How about you? Do you think what's going to happen?
I mean, I haven't seen anything out there suggesting that. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening at all. All right, let's move on. I want to talk about our new AG Merrick Garland, who is actually over the ATF because the ATF reports to the Justice Department. He says that he's going to move on guns, so we know that. So we're going to have to fight this guy.
Yes, big
He's
time.
he's going to empower the ATF, and he is very anti-gun. In fact, he does not agree with the Heller decision, and he says he would argue against Heller. He would argue against the individual right to own a firearm. In the Heller decision, the court affirmed that Second Amendment is about the individual right to own a firearm. Kamala Harris and her ilk submitted an amicus brief arguing against the individual right to own a firearm, and they try to say that it only applies to state militias that are organized by the state government. That's what the Second Amendment is talking about, which is a bunch of fooey. Yeah, Heller has been litigated and decided, but Merrick Garland does not agree with Heller, and I think that shines a light on where he stands on the Second Amendment. Plus, he said if a Heller like case came up, he would submit an amicus brief, basically going against what Heller decided.
Yeah, he was like Biden's top pick for this job.
Yeah, he was Biden's top pick for this job, and a lot of Republicans voted for him. He got like 30-70, which was ridiculous. GOA, NRA, FPC, everyone argued against Garland because in the anti-gun type of stance, he's really, really anti-gun. Right now, we're in a fight for our Second Amendment rights like we have never been in our lives or ever in the country's history. Have we had a administration and a government that is as hostile to the Second Amendment as the one that we have now?
Yeah, right.
So it's going to take everyone out there. If you go to gunowners.org, you can go ahead and sign up. Sign up for our mailing list. You don't have to sign up for like an actual membership. If you go to gunowners.org/black-swan-media, you can get it. Another question: will the Dems pack the court and reverse Heller and McDonald? City of Chicago. McDonald versus City of Chicago. McDonald was a great guy. He passed away not too long ago. It was a big loss to the Second Amendment community. If the filibuster gets killed, I think they will pack the court. If we keep the filibuster, then they can't pack the court.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the answer. And if they do pack the court, I can see them trying to reverse McDonald and Heller and Ezel versus the city of Chicago.
Yeah, and yeah, especially for Ezel. I mean, she put a lot of work into that.
Oh, she definitely did. Rhonda is a cool cat.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she is a good friend and a very cool cat. Yeah, it's she's a really good cool person. Scott, you there? Oh, you muted yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I had to cough, and I didn't want everybody to hear that.
Yes, everything is on the filibuster. That's why at GOA we've been concentrating on the filibuster and not so much on HR 127.
Right. HR 127 is just a ridiculous bill anyway, so.
Yeah. I did want to talk about something because I read police reports all the time for my job as a investigative journalist and looking for things. Stolen guns from cars, especially in Northern Virginia, is at like an all-time high. Across the state it is, but Northern Virginia is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, apparently there's a lot of that going on in Tennessee also.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on, but it's insane the amount of cars. So everyone out there needs to not leave their guns in the car, or if you do, you can buy a little like $20 lockbox that has a metal wire that goes around the brace of your seat. It's really cheap. Being responsible gun owners means we have to be responsible with our firearm. I don't leave any guns in my car.
No.
Maybe locked in the trunk or something in the lock case. But I am a big proponent of body carry.
Mm-hmm.
It's always on my body. I'm not a big proponent of installing systems in cars where you get in the car and you take off your gun, whatever. The reason why is if I have to bail from the car,
yeah,
then
you
I
gotta
will
get in there and get your gun to take it with you. So
yeah. There is a training facility in West Virginia, not a couple hours away from here, and they preach that. And the way they teach it is they put you in a car, and the car is rolled. They roll the car with you in it. It's all braced, so you're safe. And when you're upside down, you're not finding that gun.
Yeah.
But when you're upside down, you can get out and engage targets.
Well, that's interesting. That seems like a pretty extensive class right there. If they're putting you in the car and then they roll the car over, that sounds kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, well, it's at a place called Panthera Training Center.
Mhm.
Class also includes engaging targets through a windshield.
Okay, I've
Uh,
shot through many a windshield, so I know a little bit about that.
they have a 360 course. They show you in a 360 course. They also have like a 6,000 square foot shoot house they put you through. So you can like practice hostage rescue. They put you through a gun battle through a town. They have what's called a combat village, which is like a complete village where you have to engage targets in different going down the street.
Oh man, that sounds like a hell of a training facility.
Yeah, they have a off-road course, a course where it's like dirt roads, but it's like not good dirt roads, and
Yep.
and you practice engaging targets off-road, which is totally different when you're flying and you're doing like 40 miles an hour through like
Mhm.
the bush, basically trying to engage targets with your AR hanging out the window. Um, they do high speed pit maneuvers, like if you get pit maneuvered, get out of the car and engage tar. It's pretty extensive.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be like what, a week long training course.
Yeah, they teach you how to drive from the passenger seat in case your driver gets hit by a sniper.
I used to do that all the time when I was a kid, so I know how to do that already. I grew up doing that. Hey, hold the steering wheel for a minute, so okay, good.
Yeah, I had 2 free passes, and a couple of my friends were like, I couldn't go one weekend. I have done it before. So I was like, "Hey, I got 2 free passes. Do you wanna go do this?" And they're like, "Oh, what's it for?" 'Cause it was like I won the class. It's like, "Just go." So they're like, "Okay." They went, and they had no idea what they were in for. And it was ran by an SAS guy
Okay.
named Andy, real deal.
Yeah.
And the other guy was, a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds pretty close to military training for sure.
Yeah, and, the long range shooter, because you also do sniper training,
Oh wow.
which is kinda cool. And that was, ran by a Marine Scout sniper.
Mhm. Are you supposed to bring your own firearms, or do they supply them for you? How does that work?
They would, but, my friends had their own.
Right, right. I mean, I believe you should bring your own so that way you're familiar with your own weapon, but it is good to train with unfamiliar ones as well because just in case you end up having to drop yours or something goes wrong and if it's in a combat type scenario and you are able to secure another weapon, you should be able to just pick that up and continue on
I
as
I know
you would with your own.
I know when I went through FAC training, FAC is Foreign Affairs Counter Threat Training, we had to, train with, AKs.
Mhm.
We didn't even train with, like, ARs because I was never a gun guy, and what I'm talking about is like a trigger man, whatever.
Yeah.
I was always like the nerdy encryption guy that
Yeah.
went into places, but, we had to train in case, like, we got like, "Oh, yeah, you got ambushed," and, yeah, um, I even though that never happened to me or I never
Right.
get had close, but, just it was everyone in my department had to do it.
Mhm.
So, DJ playing I did a vid, months back walking through 2 different ways to 2 different ways. 2 different ways for what? DJ playing heist. We talked about a bunch of stuff. But yeah, so fact training is really cool. Everyone had in my department had to go through it, whether you had the chance of going somewhere, because some of the places where our encryption stuff was not the safest place.
Hmm.
But yeah, I never really. Yeah, nothing scary. Your fact training was a blast.
Yeah,
You
sounds like it was fun.
you also learned counter surveillance,
Oh,
which is
John,
kind of
got
cool.
some skills.
Yeah, funny thing on my class. So, you stay in a hotel and everything, and you have to. And part of the test was you have to identify people who are spying on you and like avoid them. So,
Talking about the FOIA requests, apparently.
oh yeah, dude. If you want to do a FOIA request, yeah, go right through. I have a video that walks you through how to do a FOIA request. But the last story, then we're gonna get out of here. So it wasn't me. There were some people that were sitting in an Applebee's,
Hmm.
and they look over and they see a guy who they think is one of the plants that are supposed to be spying on them. So they pay their bill and everything. They get up, and one of the guys grabs a the glass of water, throws it on the guy. They all run out. They get in the car and they go back. And the next day, they were talking about it, like, "Oh yeah, okay, this is how we identified this guy. This is how we got away." And they said, "Yeah, we identified the guy in Applebee's, so we threw water on him and ran through the kitchen and left." And the instructors were like, "That wasn't us. That was just a random guy." They're
Oh,
like, and they're like, "Are you joking? That was one of the plants, right?" And they're like, "No."
somebody got a surprise, right?
Yeah, so somebody got a supply, got water thrown into them, and then they ran.
Oh, man. Good times.
Jason King wants to know how Elite Shooting Sports is. Elite is pretty good. It's really nice. I like the new Silver Eagle that's in Ashburn. The new location. They are putting in a new range in Ashburn,
Hmm.
and the new range in Ashburn is going to be incredible. Going to have private booths, going to have a restaurant, juice bar. Um, it's going to be insane. I can't wait till that opens up. It's going to be like very, very high class. But I am going to be doing a meetup probably in the next couple months.
Hmm.
There are several people in my area who've been pushing me to do it, so I'm going to do it. All right. Do you have to be a government employee to take training at Panthera? Yes, you do. Sometimes they will have something for media, and that's how I got it. It was a media thing. I can go. We went to a media thing to cover some stuff, and they were like, "Okay, we're going to give away a free week of training uh, to like two passes private training for civilians." And I won, but I was not able to go, so I gave it to my friends. I went through it anyway. It was basically it was fact training,
Hmm.
but yeah, but no, it's a DoD facility, which means you usually have to do it. All right, man. Anything you want to talk about before we get out of here, or do we cover it all for this fourth
No, I think
episode?
we covered everything pretty well. I did find one interesting article the other day, and I can't remember the whole thing about it because I've read like a million articles in between. But it was talking about how gun control really doesn't work, and it was they were using Massachusetts as an example, and something about a prohibited person up there was able to obtain firearms, and they have pretty uh, intrinsic firearm laws up there, so uh and they still show like because they have like a universal background check system of their own up there, and it shows how well that system actually works. I mean, if the criminals really want to find a way to get their firearms, they're going to get them regardless of how many background checks you put in place or any other laws you put in place. So it all they're trying to do is hinder us law-abiding citizens, and it has to be obviously for some sort of agenda, if you ask me. I don't believe that they're just doing it for safety purposes, because we all know that criminals do not obey the law. So,
Yeah, I mean, if they obey the law and they obey signs, all you would have to do is put up signs everywhere that says no murder,
right, I would just walk around with a shirt
no
on front and back
terrorism,
that says, no, it's
no
illegal to
rob.
kill me.
It's
Yeah,
illegal to rob me.
it's illegal to rob, kill, whatever, do anything
They're
to
like,
me. You know,
damn it, those
it's
damn signs, those damn robbery free zone signs.
yeah. I think maybe we should make a shirt like that and put it up on the Black Swan Tactical.
Dude, I can have one up in like 5 minutes. You know that.
Yep,
I design shoes, so I can design a shirt.
yep, that's right.
Yeah, all right, man. Well, if you want to check out Gun Owners of America, you can go to gunowners.org and check it out. You can check me out at crumpy.com. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to Scott. But the regular shows will be back next week. Thank you for watching this. We will do episode 5 fairly shortly, in the next few days, I guess.
Yep.
Because episode 4 is just delayed of the Virginia Reloaded, sponsored by Gun Owners of America, Washington's only no compromise gun lobby. And Scott, I'm going to kick it over to you for the final word.
Yeah, you can find me here on YouTube. I got Patreon. You can also find me at blackswantactical.com. And don't forget, all proceeds go to charity from anything you purchase in the Gorillas and Gun Store, or from anything on Crumpy's portion of Black Swan Tactical. I'm not sure if everybody's store gives that proceeds to charity, but I know John and I, our everything we sell goes to charity. So
Yeah, thank you, Jason King, man. Look at that, Jason King
nice.
coming with the super chat. Yeah, basically how it works. I have some YouTubers, so if anybody wants to have their store in Black Swan Tactical, you can. Uh, they get a 10% cut of everything that's sold off their store. The rest of the profits for their store goes to different charities. Right now, we're doing
Oh,
Make a
nice.
Wish. Um, I don't take any money. Everything goes into charity. Like even the cost of the website and the store itself, I'm covering all that. I'm just covering that out of my own pocket. So 100% of the proceeds, 100% of the profits will go to charity.
Awesome.
And Gorillas and Guns is
Yep.
donating his 10% to charity as well.
100% of mine too. Yep.
Yeah, and most people actually do. Actually, it's just it's a way to give back. And I
Yeah.
like giving back. I like charity. I like helping out. What I believe is I don't believe in forced charity,
Right.
but I do believe in charity, heavily in charity. And I also believe not telling people how much I give in charity personally. So if you
Mhm.
ask, I'm not going to tell you.
Just know that he gives, and that's good enough.
Yeah. All right. We all give, we all do our part. And with
That's right.
that, we're out of here.
All right. Cool. It's all off.